Being tied up in our slip had its advantages. Unknown to us, we were tied up right next to an oyster nursery. One day as we were working on the boat, this couple removed the dock planking to expose baskets of immature oysters they were growing. They allow them to reach a certain size prior to removing them and releasing them into their oyster beds. In 2 years, these little guys will be showing up at a raw bar for our enjoyment.
Oh, the babies. That's a pretty big difference.
No kidding.
So there's even ones that are like huge in here.
Sure. Yeah, look at that.
I gotta watch that.
They filled up a number of large plastic tubs with millions of these oysters and took them to their shop to be sorted by size. The small ones are taken back to this nursery to grow, while the others are taken to their oyster beds to replace those that haven't been harvested. We've also met a number of other cruising couples preparing their just-purchased boats for the trip to the Caribbean this fall. Here is Kristen and Melina Svengard from Chanhassen, Minnesota, working on their boat. Turns out they lived only 10 miles away from us in Minneapolis. We've gotten together with them a number of times to compare notes on boat projects and discuss future plans. This boat was boxed into a corner by other boats when the launch day arrived, but the yard crew was able to pick it up with their crane high enough to clear all the obstacles in its way. This boat owner once had a 54-foot sailboat that he and his wife sailed around the world during a 10-year period. They attempted to reestablish themselves on land but just missed the sea too much. They bought this boat and are going to sail down the East Coast, hit the Bahamas, and then who knows where they'll end up. We continued with other projects as we worked with the yard mechanic to find the source of our oil leak and other associated issues. Among other projects, a new propane grill was purchased and installed in addition to testing out our new battery bank. Being located right in the first slip off the dock was nice, but we wanted to get further out on the dock for some much needed privacy. We were finally on the end of the dock when I began this next project that gave me a lot of exercise. Alright, well today's project, and actually yesterday's project, is making some shelves. We have hanging lockers, but need more shelf storage. So this is accomplished by doing some measuring and doing long walks down the dock to my little shop I got set up. So yeah, when you have to trim a 1/16 of an inch at a time, it turns into a rather time-consuming project. We're just, obviously everything is a compound angle, everything's fitting up, but yeah, the last trim job I did just wasn't quite enough, so it's another trip down the dock. And that's how the day went. Finally complete, we got ready to celebrate my birthday the following day by visiting some local boatyards and then off to Newport for dinner. The boatyard visit was a lot of fun. The boats we saw ranged from well-maintained classics to high-end cruisers to state-of-the-art racing boats, along with a good number of 12-meter sailboats used for the America's Cup. With the 12-meter World Championships coming to Newport next summer, there are also a number of 12 meters being updated in preparation for this event. We even saw the 12-meter Courageous, who won the America's Cup twice, the second time with Ted Turner at the helm. We then found the Q-class sailboat Falcon, which the current owner had completely restored in Maine a couple of years ago. She was brought to Milwaukee in the 1930s by Otto Dreyer when she was named Lively Lady, where she had an enviable race record on Lake Michigan. It was special for me as 50 years ago I had my first sailboat race on her. It was good to see her in such good shape. I also visited the Herreshoff Museum in Bristol, Rhode Island. We had a great tour of the museum and the classic old Herreshoff yachts on their docks and also in their museum. And finally, we were off to Newport for my lobster birthday dinner. Newport is a favorite place of ours, and we found a nice restaurant right on the wharf where we settled in for a feast.
Jen's birthday, going in for his lobster dinner.
It was then bib on for the feast. We then saw two 12 meters that spent time in Lake Michigan when I was a kid parade past our window. Weatherly, and then the natural Finnish heritage. Both boats look great. We then walked the wharfs and talked about the next day when we were finally able to get off the dock.
Okay, so today is the 29th. And we've been on the dock how many weeks?
I don't know, too many.
Too many.
Since the second.
Yeah, too many. So we are now left the dock. We're on our very first sail, jib only, but it's beautiful. And when we
The engine doesn't leak oil.
the engine doesn't leak oil, so that's super too. Yeah, and then we're gonna be on the morning.
Yep,
No more dock.
we're out of there.
And it's our second day out. Kind of motor sailing this morning, but we're coming into Newport.
We then made it up to Bristol Harbor and got on shore. It was July 2nd and the town was in full 4th of July mode. Bristol is a special place as they have the oldest 4th of July parade in the U.S. We'll stay for the fireworks and also the parade. We enjoyed a sundowner libation overlooking the harbor and saw a kindred spirit resting gently at anchor. Next up is the Bristol 4th of July parade.